Yeah.
Order filled. Check us out.
You know what time it is.
This is the Mighty Soldiers exclusive.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Good morning, guys. We have a full house. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Scotty-O. And we are back again with Gianni. And guys, so the market's been crazy. A lot of crazy news with banks and everything. I'm sure we have a lot to say. I'm excited, so I'm just going to bring Gianni on. Good morning, Gianni. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you? Happy spring.
It's always spring here, Gianni. It's always spring here.
Must be nice, huh?
Actually, I'm sorry. No, I'm really sorry. It's always spring through the winter, and then it turns into a scorching 93 degrees for about 3/4 of the year. So, yep. It's a blast. I like the heat. I don't mind the heat at all. My wife doesn't like it. She turns all kinds of red and everything. And me, yeah. I'm just out there like it's a beautiful day. And she's like, it's so hot. I don't know. It is what it is. But I want to start with this, man. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. The Fed's kind of in a situation right here. If they leave rates unchanged, then that makes the banking crisis look a little potentially worse than it is. Yeah. You know, and the banking crisis, it may be contained pretty well at this point. Maybe not. But if they raise rates, I mean, what is your thoughts on this? If we go ahead and we go 25 basis points, where do you think we stand with whatever this decision is the Fed makes, if you want to comment on that?
Yeah, you raise a good point, Andy, because it is a credibility issue at this point. You know, if it's as simple as throwing in the towel on the fight against inflation just because there was a banking blip, then the Fed's got some serious issues. You know, the fiat-based system is one of confidence. And if they buckle this fast, then what does that say about their own confidence in the reserve system? So, yeah, I think they'll hike 25 basis points. That's kind of what the market expects. It's really funny to see, you know, Goldman and these other banks like, oh, they're going to stay neutral. I mean, I don't know based off of, I don't know what they're saying that based on. You know what I mean? But I think the banking situation is contained in the short term. You know, it's going to take time. It takes time to see who's exposed and to what extent. But, you know, the implications of this are pretty significant because, you know, Silicon Valley Bank, that's a big startup bank. Like, what's that going to do to the private equity and the venture capital space that's been a huge way to raise capital in the last couple of years? Signature Bank obviously had a lot of ties to crypto. So, you know, we've been talking about how there's a likelihood of a merge of some sort between crypto infrastructure and traditional banking networks. And I think, you know, that's going to be in the works sooner rather than later. I mean, the Fed's going to be launching their Fed Now CBDC in July. I don't think it's going to be obviously, adopted right away by everyone. That's not how technology adoption works, obviously. But, you know, it's unfolding slowly but surely in front of us, and it's all just a matter of time. So that's how I feel about the whole banking situation at the moment.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
I was like, what was that at first? Yeah,
guys, I totally fumbled the button here. I went to unmute myself, and I just had to go and commit to it. I had to go back and push it. I started to stop it, but I'm like, you know, let's just.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Where's that from, Andy?
Oh, that's the Tiger King, man.
Oh, yeah, Tiger King. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, what I was going to say yesterday, because every day's a trading day to me. The weekend is just a really long evening, you know. But yesterday, as in Friday, I just couldn't get enough of the market as it was dropping, getting down towards the lows. I just kept buying and buying, and it made my day incredible. I'm not even sure I should say the percent I got on my account last Friday. I did post it if you guys want to go see it, but it's just, if I keep posting numbers like that, it's going to look ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, I was pretty strong in my conviction that we were not going to drop off, that it was not going to demon drop, you know, and just keep hitting new lows. But today I come in here, I see the dark pools are both selling and buying. The Qs, I believe, were buying, and the SPY was selling, or inverse to that, whatever it is. Maybe the SPY was selling. When I see that, I usually think that we might have an inside day. We're going to have a little bit of a trick or a trap that day. So I decided to sit on my hands a little bit. I got a little bit of profit, but nothing to write home to mom about, nothing really big at all. Do you have any opinion on the current market conditions and what we have going on versus this new data?
Well, not only do we have that banking situation domestically, but you've had Credit Suisse get acquired by UBS over the weekend too. You still have to handle those bad debts on the books. But, I posed the question on my Twitter account over the weekend. Does implied volatility, not volatility, I'm thinking of options. Does implied liquidity matter than actual liquidity itself? Because with all these potential bailouts in the works, so what does that do? We're just adding liquidity. And so if we're in a liquidity driven market, that should be bullish for stocks. But there's been a major internal development over the last couple of weeks that I think carries tremendous bullish implications. And it's that we're starting to see finally technology outperform the rest of the market. And that was basically, a year and a half there that we saw tech lag. And tech is the biggest sector in the overall market. And so as a result, if we see tech start to outperform, it's going to carry the rest of the market higher with it. And I think that's a very bullish development. Actually, right now, I really like growth stocks. I really like crypto, and I really like precious metals. There's a big thing happening in precious metals. This is the type of environment that gold and silver were designed for. And, we'll see how high we can go. But I'd be looking for gold to potentially retest its all-time high in the next month or two. And keep an eye on silver. I wouldn't be surprised to see silver explode into the mid-30s sometime shortly as well.
Well, I remember when silver was down at $12 because I had these Morgan dollars that I got from my grandpa, and I wanted to know how much silver was. And I was like, $12, just $12. And then it was like 16 and 14 for like the longest time. Now we're sitting at $22. I mean, doubling your money over well over a decade. I don't know if that's the best investment, but it's not bad,
Right. Right. No, go ahead.
But basically, gold, like you just said, blows my mind. We just hit $2,000. We're just off of $2,000 right now. So I was going to bring that up next. Gold and then Bitcoin, 28,000. They're saying we could see 30,000. I don't know. Maybe we can see 50, 300,000. Who knows, guys?
Well, my target for Bitcoin is around 35, 37,000. But I'm not necessarily in the camp that Bitcoin's going to go back to a new all-time high this year. Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. But there's a lot of overhead supply. There's going to be some short-term resistance in that $29,000, $30,000 area anyways. But based on, it looks like we just broke off from an inverted head and shoulders pattern in Bitcoin, and that's projecting prices into the mid $30,000 area. So I still like Ethereum better. I'd like to see Ethereum hit 22 to 2,400. And, if you don't like to trade crypto, for the reporting requirements, consider some of the mining stocks, Riot Blockchain, Marathon Digital Holdings, MicroStrategy, you have Hut 8 mining as well. But stick to the ones that actually have mining infrastructure. Don't just buy a crypto stock just because it has crypto or blockchain in its name.
Yeah, I mean, they've been beaten up quite a bit, Mara and Riot Blockchain. And if BTC really is doing what it's doing, it could get pretty interesting over there. One thing I'd like to ask you, though, is I have not traded Bitcoin futures yet. Have you? Do you trade Bitcoin futures?
Yes, but I'm reluctant to do so because it's very expensive. Because the futures brokers they charge you commissions based on per contract. Let me actually check right now because I'm curious. And the margin requirements for the Bitcoin standard contract are very high. And that's not the type of money that I'm willing to put on the line. But for a standard Bitcoin contract, the initial margin requirement on Schwab is over $60,000. So I'm not posting that for one contract. Now they do have micro contracts, but the problem is they're charging, $3 per contract. So if you're buying, the micro Bitcoin contract, which let me see what it's the initial margin is about 1,200. So that's more reasonable. I'm more comfortable with, a margin requirement of that amount. But then, if I'm doing, 3 to 6 contracts at a time, let's say, well, then my initial entry cost goes from, $3 to $20 or $18, and so it's not the end of the world. It's still cheap compared to what we were paying, a decade ago, but that's just something to keep in mind, especially if you're trading in the short term. If you're looking to make, a couple swing trades here and there, those transaction costs can really add up pretty quickly. So But yeah, I mean, I have traded the futures in the past, and I like to do that because it's basically, you still get the exposure to the asset class, and then like the reporting requirements, are no longer there. I'm a big believer in staying off the radar of the overseers, if you will, as long as you can do so in a proper manner, right?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and the proper manner is the key. I mean, nobody wants to encourage or do anything that's illegal or wrong.
It's totally legal. It's totally legal. So there's no moral hazard that I'm encouraging you to undertake.
And I'm not implying that at all.
Yeah.
But basically, so that contract you were discussing, though, since I did just anyways, I got a little off track, but the contract you're talking about, so you'd be risking about, I'm guessing like $3.75 to $5 per dollar movement within that contract for the BTC. For
the micro.
Yeah.
The micro, the tick value, it's a dollar. Oh wait, no, it is. It's 50 cents for every $5 move. So that's not that bad. But that's what I mean. Like, you probably want to buy, 3 to 6 contracts if you're trying to make a meaningful trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, I know that
every $100 Bitcoin moves, it moves $20. More or less. So.
Yeah, so that's not bad at all. That's pretty decent way to get in it and not have to expose yourself too much, because some of these contracts like RTY for the small caps, that thing is a monster, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you want to get ran over really quick, if you don't know what you're doing, go mess with RTY. You probably shouldn't, but
yeah, can't stay wrong for long.
I mean, you should probably know what you're doing. You should probably have a thesis behind your trade and make sure all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. I've had my ways to where I like to just jump into things every once in a while and just test the waters. Well, I did that once on RTY. I won't do that again. Yeah.
Futures. I mean, this year I talked about this a few weeks ago. When silver was consolidating within that range a few months back. I did break my own rules, and I was trying to anticipate the breakout, because it was a rectangle, symmetrical triangle type pattern, usually ends in a continuation of the trend. And I just got absolutely skinned on the breakdown. And a lot of times it'll happen when there's too many people anticipating a move. The market has a tendency to whipsaw you in the other direction, to wipe out all those, weak hands. And it's not even necessarily weak hands. Like, you have to manage risk, right? Like, if you're trading futures, you can't. If you're trading silver futures, you can't hold through a $3 drop. I mean, that's insanity. I mean, believe me, you're going to be getting a margin call or two if you do that. So, but now we're basically back in silver. The high today in the May contract was around 21.53, and we're basically retesting the former support turned resistance of that rectangle pattern that I was just talking about. So if we can clear that, I think it's a pretty good sign for the metals thesis. And these things can move. They're built for they're essentially the one currency out there that doesn't have counterparty risk, right? You can go anywhere in the world and people are going to take your gold and silver. There might come a day where people don't want dollars. Right now, everyone still wants dollars, but I would argue that a short-term sustained correction in the dollar is actually bullish for stocks, and that's what we're seeing right now. And perhaps that has to do with the Fed slowing down on the rate hikes. I do think they will slow the pace, but I on the flip side, I do think they're gonna hike 25 basis points later this week too. So
yeah. So what you were just saying though about the whipsaw move. Basically, what I've been doing, and guys, go pause the disclaimer at the beginning of this video. We're not registered investment advisors, not giving you investment advice or anything. But what I do now is I'll take the initial setup because I'm looking to get a little bit of money, and the little bit of money is something to pay my bills. Something to keep me going a little bit. And basically from there, I have the tightest risk parameters on that trade because I believe we're going to get what you just said. I believe we're going to get that whipsaw. I'm probably going to have to stop out a little bit on that trade, and I've accepted that. And then after the whipsaw move and we get a little like, wow, this is way bigger than it's got to be bigger than I thought. It can't just be like, oh, we pulled down a little bit. It has to be like we kept crushing for a while. And now it's like, okay, I can see a bottom forming. I can see that we're holding this low. And from there, I'll take those over and over and over again. And I had Mike in the chat the other day, and I was telling him, I was making money, and the market was just going down. And he's like, you're making money long, and the market's going down. So it's like, I don't. It works out for me. I do it. It's a little bit crazy, but my whole point is the initial setup now. I don't see those the same way as I used to. It's not my setup. That's just the icing on the cake. If I can have it, I'm willing to give that little bit, and then I'm going to get a bigger chunk at the bottom of that whipsaw move. So
yeah, right on, Andy.
I don't know if that's how you see it or not, but I just I have this opposite day mentality, and I have this whole like I don't trust anything in the market mentality now.
Yeah, except price.
And then missing a move, I just don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care about missing moves anymore. That's a very you get over that pretty quickly because there's always going to be another one, right? Like we'd have to have that mindset of abundance in the sense that there's going to be another move that can make you a lot of money, and it's just a matter of identifying it and being ready to capitalize on it when the time comes.
Well, the problem with what I was saying right there, we're a little bit over if you don't mind, but the problem with what I'm saying there is that when the market just behaves the way that it should behave and the setup was the setup, I'm not climbing as fast as what I would if we would get that whipsaw move. So sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm getting a little impatient, and that's that starts to wear on me. I've allowed that to put me into bigger losses because of the impatience, trying to maybe push a little bit more on the market.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, as you can see, trading is complex and fun and interesting. And I really appreciate your insight, Gianni. Sorry for rambling on right there, but I love this.
Pleasure as always, Andy. Pleasure as always.
But yeah, anyways, guys, go check out Gianni's webpage. Anywhere you want to lead anybody, Gianni?
Benzinga.com and MMAcycles.com. That's the best place to find me.
All right, guys, and thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Oh, one real quick thing. Beach Bum Trading, always great information from Beach Bum Trading here. You can go long Bitcoin with BITO ETF or indirectly with BLOK ETF as well. So,
yes, thank you.
So, anyways, guys, have a good one. Thanks again, Gianni. Appreciate it.
Later.
Yeah.
Ordered Phil, check us out.
You know what time it is.
This is the Mighty Soldiers exclusive.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like,
If you with the squad, then you already know what's up. It be going down, but my account is going up. I'm about to make another 100,000 bucks. Rolling up that chain, I'm about to take another puff.
Hold up, I made a killing, now my pockets got swollen. Independent, now I'm taking over. I'm a lot richer, you a lot broker. I'm a pot smoker, stockbroker, blowing up like a supernova. On my mama, I was born a soldier, the best in the game, man. I thought I told you. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like, I am unstoppable, I can do anything I ever wanted to. Never did anything they ever wanted me to. Got on my side and I'm not gonna lose and they're not gonna win. I see them, the haters, it's all cause I'm getting dollars again. Commas on commas, I'm buying the dip. The market is dropping again. I can see him hating from the sideline. If you see a hater, tell him bye-bye. Watch my money grow, 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 grow. And my wife feel like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, somebody better stop me cause there ain't no competition and I'm coming for the top position, obliterating the opposition. Every time that I jot it in the composition, everybody wanna stop and listen cause I bring it to you hotter than the oven in your mama kitchen. I'll be getting hit like a politician. I'ma get bread when you stack like it's all it is. Scottie Pippen, ain't nobody ready for the Armageddon when I pop the clip and I ain't playing. I'm spraying you brain, I'm bringing the pain like Damon Wayne. You disappear like David Blaine. I'm dropping bombs, Saddam Hussein. Stop and aim, pop you lames and pop champagne. I ain't playing so stop the games, you know the name. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like, yeah. Yeah, yeah. right, man. I'm out.